All right, it is 5:30, so it's time to get started. Welcome to class. For those of you who are new, welcome. My name is Amanda McIntire, and this is the OLLI Beginning Yoga class. For those of you who have been tuning in regularly or are regular students of mine, welcome back. And good for you for keeping up with your yoga practice. This is such a great opportunity being provided by OLLI, free to everybody, so do share the link. And if you're not already an OLLI member or you haven't participated before, maybe you want to consider making a donation or joining OLLI. It's a really nominal membership fee and totally worth it for all these free yoga classes that we've been streaming. So really appreciative of this opportunity to be wherever it is that you are right now practicing yoga. This is a beginner level class, and I'm trusting you to use your own judgment and body wisdom as we go through the practice tonight. We're all in different places at different points in time, so tune into that for yourself. And if you really need to kind of give your knee a break tonight, then don't go so deeply into certain postures. And if your hamstrings are really tight, feel free to hang out in a forward fold a little bit longer. Do whatever it is that you need to make your body feel comfortable. Hopefully you're in a space that's comfortable for yourself and that you'll be able to freely move your arms without concern of knocking into something. But just do your best as we go through class tonight. Yesterday was International Day of Yoga, in addition to Father's Day and the first day of summer. And it's a observance that was brought into being by the UN about 6 years ago. So yesterday there were millions of people all over the world practicing yoga and spreading this idea that physical and internal well-being is good for all of us and good for the planet, which is really, really cool. So I was using that as my inspiration to put together our class tonight, because I thought that we would go a little classical yoga for this evening. And so what I mean by that is, well, this reminder that yoga is this ancient practice from thousands of years ago. And it incorporated all of the things that we do in this class, including the yoga philosophy of letting go and being in the present moment and non-harming and those kinds of things, but also breathing, meditation, and the physical postures, which are called asana. And originally, the yoga practice was intended to, the physical portion, the asana portion, was meant to open up the body. So get all the joints open and moving, get the muscles stretched, so that the participant could then sit for meditation, probably somewhere very uncomfortable for an extended period of time. So likely on a really hard floor somewhere or outside on the ground. So yoga was meant to really get the body all open and ready to sit in a comfortable seat. And that seat is called asana. So the word asana means posture, pose, or seat. And so I thought that that would be the other thing that would be kind of cool to do in class tonight, is to make sure that we really have Sanskrit incorporated in terms of the names of the postures. Asana is a Sanskrit word. And all of the yoga postures have a Sanskrit name to them. So they have English names that I typically use, and also Sanskrit, which is this ancient Indian language from a very long time ago that the Hindis used in their texts, as well as the Buddhists and the Jains. And it's this universal language of yoga. I mean, it is a ancient language, but in the yoga practice, using Sanskrit to identify the postures creates this common terminology for all of us. So, for example, when I'm teaching the top of a push-up, in English, we call that plank pose. In French, they call that planche. But in Sanskrit, it's called Utthita Chaturanga. So you could go to a yoga class with people who speak all different languages, and if they're familiar with the Sanskrit names and the teacher's guiding them, everyone will know that Utthita Chaturanga means plank or planche or whatever other name there may be. So as we go through our practice tonight, we're going to be opening up the body, all of the different 300 plus joints that we have in our body and stretching the muscles just as they did to get ready to sit for meditation. And I'm going to be pairing the Sanskrit words along with the English words so that you can become more familiar with them. Some of them are very long names, and all of them end in asana, which means that they end up sounding very similar. Dandasana, Paschimottanasana, Utkatasana, Virabhadrasana. So repetition, I think, is the key, and pairing them with the English words so that they may become more familiar to you. You already know one, Shavasana, often the favorite posture at the very end, which is also called corpse pose. We'll be sure to get plenty of Shavasana in tonight. So we're going to open up. We're going to do a little bit of Sanskrit and do what you need to stay cool, stay hydrated, and enjoy your practice tonight. We'll begin by finding a comfortable seat, however that looks for you tonight, and however comfortable you can get. That may mean sitting on a block or a blanket or right on the floor. You can have your legs crossed or your knees bent or legs extended, your choice. And you can always shift around to make it more comfortable for yourself if you need to. I prefer sitting in this cross-legged seat like this. And in Sanskrit, this cross-legged posture is called Sukhasana, or easy pose, which I think is an ironic name because it's not necessarily that easy for folks. So wherever you're at, whether the legs are crossed or extended, make sure that your weight is evenly distributed between both of your hips. That you're sitting up nice and tall with a really long spine, extending the crown of your head up towards the ceiling as your shoulders relax. Keep your chin parallel to the floor and close your eyes or bring them to a soft gaze as you allow yourself to arrive in this seat and in class tonight. And begin to connect with your breath. Just letting it gently pour in and out of the lungs. Soften the muscles of the eyebrows and relax the jaw. Gently bring both shoulders up by your ears, and then gently allow the shoulder blades to nestle down on the back, finding this balance between pinching the shoulders and finding space between them. And in this seat, just take a mental inventory, a body scan of how your body's feeling right now. Starting with your toes that may be pressing into the floor, the feet and ankles. Checking in with your shins and calves, knees and thighs, hips and torso, all the way up the spine to the shoulders. Check in with your upper arms and elbows, your forearms, wrists, hands and fingers. Just notice what they feel like right now. Maybe they're tight, or they feel swelled. Maybe they feel really loose, or maybe you don't really notice how they're feeling. They just feel like they're there. There's no right or wrong. It's just checking in with the present moment and with your body. With each inhale, keep sitting up a little bit taller, a little bit brighter in your seat. As you exhale, let the hips root down, let the shoulders stay relaxed. And we'll begin by bringing our palms together in prayer in front of the heart. This is called Anjali Mudra, pressing the palms together in this way. And we'll begin by chanting the universal sound of Om together. And we'll chant it just one time, as loudly or as softly as you would like. So keep sitting up nice and tall. Take a full exhale. And an inhale for Om. Release the hands and gently let your eyes flutter open. Notice how that Om got into the joints of the jaw. A little bit of movement and vibration there. Keep sitting up nice and tall, and if you're able to, come to a cross-legged seat in Sukhasana or easy pose. Sometimes they call this crisscross applesauce too, I think. Hands are on your thighs as you sit up nice and tall, really proud through the chest, and bring your awareness to the tip of your nose. And we're going to draw circles, or the best circle that you can, with just the tip of the nose. Keeping the shoulders down and getting a little bit of movement in the joints or the vertebrae that are right in between the neck and the thoracic spine. Reverse directions of your circles, or it might be like an oval or a trapezoid. But we're just trying to focus on the nose, creating the circle to make this movement in the back of the neck. Nice. Come to stillness with the head. And then turn and take a look over the right shoulder, keeping both shoulders square to the front of the mat. As you exhale, come through center and take a look over the left side. And come back to center once again. Extend your legs straight out in front of you. If you're sitting on a block, it might be more comfortable to remove it. And legs are straight out in front. This is called Dandasana, or staff pose. Feet are flexed, and legs are as straight as they can be, but if you need a little bend in the knees, no problem, go for it. Fingertips are connected to the floor next to your hips, and you're sitting up nice and tall. Nice long neck, long spine. See if you can relax into this posture a little bit. There's no pressure, we're just opening up the body today. As you inhale, gently float your fingertips up overhead, keeping the shoulders relaxed and the belly tucked in. Leading with the chest, as you exhale, hinge forward, releasing your hands wherever is comfortable for Paschimottanasana, or seated forward fold. And notice that I have my shoulders down away from my ears, and I have a nice flat back and long spine here. I am able to reach my feet if I wanted to, but I have to round my shoulders to do that. And I do enough of that in my life that I want to enjoy finding length in the yoga practice. So see if you can bring the shoulders away from the ears. Reach through the fingertips as you inhale. Arms come up overhead. Exhale and release them down by your sides. Once again, come to a cross-legged seat if you're able to. Otherwise, it's fine to have the knees bent or find something more comfortable. Once again, sit up nice and tall. Palms are by your sides. Inhale, float the fingertips up. Take a look up. And then exhale, palms towards the floor as you drop the chin. Inhale, palms lift as you look up. Reach the arms up overhead. This time, connect the palms. Exhale and bring your hands to your heart. Inhale once again, getting movement and rotation in the shoulders and in the neck. Take a look up. Exhale and hands come to heart center. Once again, inhale and reach up. This time we'll pause at the top and just check in with your posture here. So this is Utthita Sukhasana, which is extended easy pose. Keep your belly tucked in and the shoulders relaxed. And be looking up at your fingertips unless that makes you not feel so good. And if this makes you not feel so good, take a look straight ahead towards me. Create fists with the hands, and let's do some circles with the wrists. Taking care of these precious wrist joints. Switch directions with the circles. And if your wrists are cracking, as long as that's not painful, that's not a bad thing, so don't worry about it. Come to stillness and spread the fingers really, really wide as you look up. Nice. How wide can you spread the fingers? This is our moment to stretch the fingers. So stretch the thumb and the pointer fingers, etc., across the palm to get some movement in all of those joints in the fingers and the phalanges. And spread the hands really wide. Connect the palms. Exhale, and hands come to heart center. Nice job. Bring your right fingertips behind you and your left hand on the opposite knee for a twist. Your right fingertips are kind of like a kickstand behind you, so they're relatively close to the body but connected to the floor. As you exhale, make your way through center and over to the other side. Left fingertips behind you, right hand on the opposite knee. Nice long spine as we get some movement through all of those joints in the back body and the vertebra and spine. And exhale to unwind back to center. Come onto your hands and knees in a tabletop position. In Sanskrit, tabletop, which is when we're on all fours, is called Bharamanasana. We're lining up the hips over the knees, the shoulders over the wrists, and then walk your hands forward a couple of inches after you've aligned them under the shoulders so that you have a nice wide angle. All right, we're in tabletop position. On an inhale, you're going to tip the pelvis, sticking the tailbone up, dropping the belly, dropping the chest, and looking up for cow pose, or Bittilasana. Press into the hands, pull the belly in, round the spine for cat pose, which is Marjayasana. Inhale again, drop the belly and chest, and look up for cow pose, Bittilasana. Exhale, round the spine once again. Pull your belly button all the way in for cat pose, Marjayasana. And just do a couple more of these in your own time and in your own breath to get movement through all of the vertebra in the spine, creating a wave, opening up. After your next exhale, which is cat pose, come back to a neutral spine, flat back. Strong and steady, extend your right arm straight out in front and extend your left leg directly behind at hip height. Flex the left foot so that you're pressing the sole of the foot to the back of the room. And if you find that this is a little bit wobbly, think about hugging in at the thighs, hugging in at the belly. Plant your right hand on the mat. Point your left toes behind you, like opening up the top of the foot, stretching the leg. And then relax the left foot and do some circles with the ankle. Notice if your weight is shifting in your hands and try to even them out. Switch directions with your circles. Nice. Come to stillness with the foot and then bring the knee back down to the mat and we'll switch sides. So get a nice firm tabletop and extend the left arm as you reach the right leg behind you. Flexing the right foot and reaching, through your left fingers. Nice. Steady breath here. Point your right toes, point them as much as you can towards the back of the room. Plant your left hand on the mat. Relax the right foot and then do some circles with the ankle here. And again, adjust your weight if you need to, if you find that you're leaning towards one side or the other. Reverse direction with the circles. Nice. And then come to stillness, bringing the right knee underneath you, and come on up to standing on your knees. And this is a great opportunity to use a blanket or to fold your mat over if you have tender knees. This is also a nice place for a block to get closer to the floor. But we'll start by standing up nice and tall on our knees. Core is engaged, shoulders are on the back. Extend your right leg out to the side. And you can either have your foot parallel to the mat or perpendicular and play around with it. See which one feels better. You'll notice it moves from your ankle to your knee to your hip. So you might find one that feels a little more comfortable than the other. So this is gate pose or Parigasana, and we're intended to sort of swing the way that a unhinged, or I suppose a hinged gate would. But we're standing up nice and tall. Let your right fingertips go down the right leg and reach your left arm up overhead, opening up through the left hip. As you inhale, come through center, bring your left hip to your left hand, reach your right fingertips up overhead, creating a diagonal line from the right hand to the right foot, opening up through the right hip. Inhale again, back through center, right hand comes to the right leg, left arm reaches up overhead. If you can, look up towards the lifted hand. Very little weight in this right hand because you're so strong in your legs and core. Inhale, come through center. This time, left hand comes to the floor or a block as you reach through the right fingertips, opening up more through the right hip. Inhale, come back through center. Use your abdominal muscles as you, one last time, work your way over to the right. And all the way over to the left. Hand comes to the floor or a block. You can stay here or try lifting your right foot, keeping it flexed, pressing through the foot to open up through the right hip. Nice. Use your core to come back up to center. Bring your right knee underneath you and we'll switch sides. All right. Stand up nice and tall. Extend the left leg out. Have the foot, however's most comfortable for you on this side. Might be different than the other side, so your choice. Gently let the left fingertips go down the leg as you reach through the right arm. Varigasana. Inhale to come through center. Right hand comes to the hip. Left arm reaches for this diagonal line. Left shoulder stays engaged. Inhale, use your core to come through center. Left hand to the left leg, reach through the right fingertips. Inhale through center. This time, right hand comes to the floor or a block. Left arm reaches in a diagonal line. You're creating openness and space through the left hip. Last time, inhale, come through center. Left hand to the left leg and swinging all the way through. Right hand comes back to the floor or the block. Reach through the left arm. And if you want to try lifting the left leg, flex through the sole of that left foot for extra opening in the hip. Nice. Inhale to come back up to center. Bring your left knee underneath you. Bring the big toes together, and we're going to press back into a child's pose, or balasana. So big toes together, knees are wide. Fingers are reaching up towards the top of the mat as you move your hips towards your heels or more towards the back of the mat. In this posture, we're trying to create length in the spine and finding some grounding in your energy. Inhale to come back up to all fours. Walk your knees back just a couple inches. Hands come forward a couple inches. Tuck the toes and make your way up to plank, Utthita Chaturanga. This is also called four-limbed staff pose. The shoulders are over the wrists, the legs are straight, the core is engaged, and you're pressing your tailbone towards your heels. Keep looking out on the floor ahead of the mat to keep open through the back of the neck. Steady breath, nice job. Keep your hands and feet where they are and push into the hands, moving the hips up and back to downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Hands are shoulder width apart or wider, feet are hips distance apart. Pedal the feet out here, so alternate bringing each heel closer to the floor, bending the knees. You may find that your hands are slipping on the mat tonight, if it's hot where you are. Come to stillness with the legs. Walk your feet up towards your hands so that you're at a forward fold, also called Uttanasana. Feet are hips distance apart and parallel. Legs are as straight as they can be. We're hinged forward at the hips and connect your hands to something. So maybe it's your shins, a block, the floor. And let your head relax so that the crown of the head points directly towards the floor. And just gently nod your head yes and shake your head no. See if you can get some opening through the neck and shoulders. Come to stillness with your head. Bend your knees, get your hips underneath you. Press into the feet, and as you inhale, reach your arms wide, coming all the way up, arms up overhead. Connect the palms and bring your hands to your heart. Nice. So now, of course, it's time for my favorite posture, which is Tadasana, or mountain pose. And we'll begin from the base, which is always the most important part of any asana or yoga posture. So take a look down at your feet. They should be hips distance apart and parallel. That means you go from where your hip bones are on your pelvis straight down, and we look at our second toes to see if they are parallel with one another. That helps with the alignment because some of us have our feet go out or in. So parallel feet right underneath the hips. Core is nice and strong. Take a look down at your toes. We got to give a little bit of love and acknowledgement to these precious toes of ours. So taking a look down at the feet, lift your toes up off the mat. As many toes as you've got. And then gently, toe by toe, place each one back down on the mat. See if you can do each individual toe by themselves. This is a practice, so you might find that you have very little control over your toes. But something to check out. Now you have a nice wide stance. Stand up nice and tall. Core is engaged. Pulling in at the belly, tucking the ribs. Palms are facing straight ahead as the crown lifts. Tadasana. Inhale to float the fingertips up overhead. Utthita Tadasana. So Utthita means extended. Little bit of a back bend. Open up the chest. Stay strong in the belly. As you exhale, hinge at the hips and fold all the way forward. Forward fold or Uttanasana. Bend your knees. Inhale, reach your arms wide as you come all the way up, arms up overhead. Exhale, sit back for chair pose or Utkatasana. Shift the weight in the hips back. Keep the stomach snug. And extend the arms so that they're up next to your ears. Check in with your breath. Make sure you can breathe here. Bring your palms together at your heart. Straighten the legs as you exhale. Hinge all the way forward once again. Uttanasana. Bend your knees. Inhale. Arms reach wide. Come all the way up. And hands come to heart center. Bring your hands to your hips. Check in with your Tadasana or mountain pose here. Make sure your feet are still rooted, that your legs are engaged, and that your core is strong. As you inhale, float your right arm up overhead. Keep space between your ears and shoulders. And as you exhale, we're going to arch over towards the left side, looking down at the floor. And then if you're able to, turn the neck and take a look up towards the lifted hand, getting some opening through the neck and through the right hip. Strong in the core. Exhale to come back to center. Right hand comes to the right hip. Inhale, float the left arm up as you arch over to the right side, looking down at the floor, keeping lots of space between your ears and shoulders. And as you inhale, turn the head to take a look up towards the lifted hand. Maybe notice any other sensations you have in the body as you turn the head. Maybe you can feel it in your feet or in your low back. On an inhale, come back up to center and find mountain pose once again. Bring your awareness to your left foot and begin to pour your weight into the left foot as you start to free the right foot. So all the weight's poured into the left side. See if you can come up onto your right big toe. And this might be plenty for you tonight, but if you're able to, see if you can flex the right foot, maybe even lifting the knee up a little bit higher. And if you're able to get it up to hip height, try wrapping your hands around the shin, pulling the shoulders on the back. Wherever you are, we're just practicing standing on one leg right now, which is not always an easy feat. So give yourself a break and give yourself some encouragement for trying this out on this hot Monday evening. All right, wherever you are, bring your hands to your hips and gently step your right toes back to a high lunge, which we also call Anjaneyasana or crescent lunge. In this posture, your back heel is lifted, so you're up on your back toes. Front knee is lined up with the front ankle and your back leg is straight. To get more of an opening through the right hip, You can scoot the right toes back a little bit more, but that's yogi's choice. Stay strong in the belly. Release your hands down by your sides. Keep the shoulders on the back. As you inhale, float your fingertips up overhead, keeping the shoulders relaxed. Bring your hands to heart center, and on an inhale, we're going to twist to the left, bringing your right hand in front, left hand behind. Pavrita Anjaneyasana, or revolved high lunge. Exhale to bring the hands back to center. Nice. Bring your hands to your hips, press into the front foot, and come on up to the top of your mat. Take any movements that you need to let all of that integrate into the body. And then find your mountain pose once again. Maybe do a little scan to see how the different legs feel here. Feel your right foot grounded and rooted. Feel strength all the way up the leg through the core as you start to shift your weight coming up onto your left big toe. Keep standing up nice and tall, and you can either stay here or flex the left foot as you lift the left knee up a little bit higher. And if you're able to, maybe hands come around the shin and shoulders on the back. Steady, full breaths. Maybe this side is a totally different story than the other side. It's worth noticing. Bring your hands to your hips if they're not there already, and then gently step your left toes back to a high lunge or Anjaneyasana. Front knee over the front ankle, back heel is lifted, and make sure that your feet are hips width apart and that you're not standing on a tightrope. So think more like railroad tracks rather than a tightrope. If you want to scoot your back toes back a little bit more to get more open through the left hip, you can do that. Release your arms down by your sides with your palms facing straight ahead. Keep hugging in at the thighs if you find this to be a little bit wobbly. Strong in the belly, inhale, float the fingertips up. Keep the shoulders relaxed. On an exhale, connect the palms and bring your hands to your heart. And then on an inhale, we'll twist to the right. Pavrita Anjaneyasana to the right side, or revolved high lunge. Exhale and come back to center. Hands come to the hips, kick off the back foot, coming up to the top of the mat, and once again, shake it out if you need to. And find mountain pose once again. Release your arms down by your sides. Feel your feet pressing into the floor. Engage the legs, engage the belly and glutes. Reach up through the crown as you relax the shoulders. Inhale and float the arms up. Exhale, hinge at the hips and fold all the way forward. Step your right foot back to a lunge. This can be a nice place to have your blocks if you'd like. We've got the front knee lined up over the front ankle. Back heel is lifted, back leg is straight. Your hands are connected to either the floor or blocks. You have a nice long neck, nice long spine. Right hand comes to the floor or a block. As you inhale, sweep the left arm up for a twist. Opening up through the spine and through the shoulder. Exhale to lower your lifted hand down and make your way back to plank or Utthita Chaturanga, top of a push-up, nice and strong, steady breath. From here, you're welcome to either do a reverse push-up to lower yourself down, that's called Chaturanga, or you can join me in dropping the knees first, pointing the toes and bringing your torso all the way down to the mat. Your toes are pointed, legs are squeezing together, hands are underneath your shoulders. Strong in the belly. As you exhale, peel the chest off of the mat for baby cobra or bhujangasana. Exhale to lower back down. Tuck your toes and make your way back to downward facing dog, either through plank or through tabletop. Adho Mukha Svanasana is down dog. Take a look at your hands and walk your feet forward, coming to a forward fold, Uttanasana, at the top of your mat. Bend your knees, inhale, reach your arms wide as you come all the way up, Utthita Tadasana, extended mountain. Connect your palms, exhale, and Bring your hands to your heart. All right, we did one half of a sun salutation. Let's get ready for the other side. Find your mountain at the top of your mat if you're not there already. Nice and strong. Inhale, float the arms up. Keep the shoulders relaxed, strong in the belly. Exhale, hinge at the hips and swan dive all the way forward. Relax the head. Step your left foot back to a lunge. Front knee lines up with the ankle. Back leg is straight. Again, think about the feet being hip width apart. Hands are on the floor or on blocks. Plant the left hand, and as you inhale, float the right arm up. Your left hand can be connected to the floor or a block. Think about having a nice long neck here. Exhale to release your right hand back down and make your way back to plank, Utthita Chaturanga. Nice and strong, steady breath. Know that you're welcome to drop your knees whenever you want to. And then you can either lower in one straight line or drop the knees, point the toes, and come all the way down. Release your arms down by your sides with your palms face up. Squeeze the legs together, engage the legs, the glutes, the core. As you exhale, lift everything you can up off of the mat. So toes, fingers, maybe your knees and chest. This is locust pose or shalabhasana. Exhale to release back down. Plant your hands underneath the shoulders. Tuck your toes and either going through plank or tabletop, make your way back to downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Take a moment here in down dog. If it feels good to you to pedal the feet out, do that. If you want to just chill here, or if you want to drop the knees and take a child's pose, you can do that too. If you're pedaling out the feet, come to stillness and gently walk your way up to the top of your mat, coming to a forward fold. Bend your knees, inhale, reach your arms wide, come on up. Connect the palms and exhale, bring your hands to your heart. Nice. Let go of that. Have some water if you need to. And make your way to the center of your mat. Also have a block available. We'll put that right in the middle of the mat. And we're going to come to a wide-legged stance. I have my heels turned in and my toes pointing at about a 45-degree angle. Bend at the knees, keeping the knees in alignment with the toes. So this is like a wide-legged squat. Core is nice and strong, so the belly's tucked in, ribs are tucked in, tailbone's pointed towards the floor. Bring your arms up to 90 degrees for goddess pose or Devyasana. Make sure you're breathing here. If you want to go a little bit deeper, you can scoot your feet out a little bit more to sink the hips. If this is plenty for you, good job. Stay right where you're at. Check out your knees. Make sure that they're staying in alignment with your toes. Sometimes they want to start to point inward. We want to be kind to them. Couple more breaths here. Nice job. All right, straighten the legs, straighten the arms, 5-pointed star. Lots of space. Bring your hands to your hips. Bring your feet so that they're parallel. You're still in a wide-legged stance. As you exhale, hinge forward and come to a flat back, looking down at the floor. Bring your right hand to the floor or a block. As you inhale, sweep the left arm up for a twist. This is Pavrita Prasarita Konasana. Exhale to lower the left hand back down, and we'll switch sides. Left hand on the floor or block. Sweep the right arm up for a twisted, wide-legged forward bend. Exhale to release back down, and then let yourself fold as far forward as feels comfortable for you. This is Prasarita Padottanasana, or wide-legged standing forward fold. With every exhale, let the shoulders relax a little bit more. See if you can find more space in the low back. Bring your hands to your hips, press into your feet, and come on up to standing. Heel toe your feet back to the center of your mat, and then come on up to the top and bring your feet hips distance apart and parallel. Step your right foot back for Warrior Two or Virabhadrasana 2. Your back foot is parallel to the back of the mat. Front heel aligns with the back arch. Your back leg stays straight as you bend into this front knee, keeping the knee in alignment with your second toe. Knee also lines up with the ankle here. Keep your hips and shoulders facing the long end of your mat. Inhale to extend your arms out to a T, keeping the shoulders on the back, and then turn the head so you're looking over your front hand. Again, this is Warrior Two or Virabhadrasana 2. Bend the front elbow, placing it on the front thigh, and extend your right fingertips over the top of your head. This is Utthita Parsvakonasana, or extended side angle pose. Stay strong in the legs so that this left arm is just for a little bit of balance. Left palm is up, right palm is down. Inhale, press into the legs to come back up to Warrior Two. And then straighten the front leg. Start to reach forward for triangle pose. Your left hand either comes to the shin or a block, which is on the pinky toe side of your foot. And your right fingertips are lifted up towards the ceiling. Both legs are straight, and you can be looking down at the floor, at the side wall, or up towards your lifted hand. Again, this is Trikonasana, or triangle pose. All right, strong and steady in the feet. Come on up. Bend into the front knee again to Warrior Two. All right, kick off the back foot. Come on up, shake it out a little bit, and we'll switch sides. Step the left foot back for Warrior Two on the other side. Back leg is straight with the foot parallel to the back of the mat. Front heel aligns with the back arch. Knee is aligned with the ankle, and your hips and shoulders are square to the side of the mat. Arms come out to a T. Turn your head to look over your front right hand. Make sure your shoulders are relaxed, and that when you look down, that your knee is pointing towards your second toe. Virabhadrasana 2 or Warrior 2. On your next exhale, bend the front elbow, place it on the front thigh, and reach the back arm overhead for Utthita Parsvakonasana. Extended side angle, opening up the hip and the low back. Strong in the legs, come back up to Warrior Two. Nice. Straighten the front leg. We'll start to reach forward with the right hand. It's going to come to the block or to your shin. Both arms and legs are straight. Left fingertips lift up towards the ceiling. You can be looking at the floor, the side, or up towards your lifted thumb. All right, strong and steady in the legs. Come on up. Bend into the front knee one more time for Warrior Two. Bring your hands to your hips. Kick off the back foot and come on up to the top of your mat. Find mountain pose one more time. And bring your awareness to your left foot, feeling it pressing actively into the floor. Nice and strong in the inner thighs and in the belly. Begin to shift your weight to your left foot. Freeing your right foot, we're going to come into tree pose or Vriksasana. And you have the option of placing the foot against the ankle, the calf, or the inner thigh. The intention here is to be really rooted and grounded like a tree, and then grow up from there. So find steadiness in your standing foot, pressing the right foot into the left leg, leg into the foot. If you want to challenge yourself and put the foot up higher, you're welcome to do that. Just avoid placing the foot on the knee. When you find your tree pose, bring your palms together at your heart and actively press the palms together. That helps keep the shoulders on the back, helps you find balance. And then gently let your palms come together up overhead, and then let the branches grow. So extend your arms out for tree pose. And notice the work that your ankle is doing right now. We've really opened up through all of the joints. That makes it a little bit steadier, but a little bit looser all at the same time. Bring your palms together overhead. Exhale and bring your hands to your heart. Bring the knee forward. Lower your foot and shake it out a little bit. And then we will do the other side. So find your mountain pose or Tadasana first. All that active energy coming up through the body. Feel your right foot firmly rooted. And then start to shift your weight, freeing the left foot, placing it wherever makes sense on this side. And this might be a totally different side for you. Maybe you can get it into the inner thigh on this side. But press the foot into the leg into the foot. If you fall out of the posture, you're always welcome to come back into it. Bring your palms together at your heart. Press the palms together, and then we'll start to lift the hands up overhead. And then spread the arms and fingers like branches, keeping the shoulders relaxed and the core nice and strong. Make sure you're breathing. Bring your palms together overhead. Exhale to bring your hands to heart center. Bring the knee forward, lower the foot, and shake it out a little bit to release. Nice job. All right, bring your feet to hips distance and parallel once again. Find mountain pose, Tadasana. Inhale and float the arms up, take a look up. Exhale and sit back, Utkatasana, or fierce pose, or chair pose. Hips are moving back, weight is shifted into your heels. Nice and snug at the belly, and we have the spine as straight as it can be here. Bring your palms together at your heart. Keeping both knees pointing straight ahead, we're going to take the right elbow towards the left thigh for a twist. This is Pavrita Utkatasana, or revolved chair pose. If you can get the knee around the thigh, go for it. Otherwise, it's fine if it rests on it. Press the palms together, pull the left shoulder back to help stack the shoulders. And of course, if your thighs are talking to you and you need to straighten your legs, you're welcome to do that. Otherwise, take advantage of this opportunity to be pushed a little. As we exhale, we'll work our way over to the other side. Left elbow comes to the right knee. Both knees are still pointing straight ahead. So if they get a little bit funky, see if you can readjust. Press the palms together. Pull the right shoulder back as you look over to the right side. Gently unwind back to center. Extend your arms. Straighten the legs. Utthita Tadasana, or extended mountain pose. Stay strong in the belly. Reach through the fingertips up as high as you possibly can. And then exhale, hinge at the hips and fold all the way forward. Uttanasana, or forward fold. Make your way back to a downward facing dog. Adho Mukha Svanasana. And in this down dog, think about pressing your heels down towards the floor. They likely will not connect if your hands and feet are in the right place. There should be some space between your heels and the floor. But think about them descending so that you can open up through the backs of the knees and the calves. Lower your knees, point your toes, and then we're going to scoot around to a seat. And we'll begin by extending the right leg out and bringing the sole of the left foot on the inner thigh. Make sure that your weight is even between both of the hips here. I like to pull the fleshy part away to get more even. Sit up nice and tall. Don't worry about how far your knee is from the floor. Your hip decides what that's going to do. But turn your torso towards the extended leg. Reach your arms up overhead. And as you exhale, hinge forward. Keep the torso in alignment with the leg. It helps to take the left hand and reach towards the pinky toe side of the leg. This posture is called Janu Shirshasana, or head to knee pose. As you inhale, reach through the fingertips to come up. As you exhale, we'll twist to the left. Bring your left fingertips behind you, right hand on the bent knee. That back hand is just for a little bit of a kickstand to prop you up. And we're twisting all the way to the left. And then keeping your right hand on the bent knee as you inhale, reach the left arm up overhead towards your right foot. Inhale to come back up to center, and we'll switch sides. Extend the left leg out, bring the sole of the right foot on the inner thigh, and again, adjust the hips so that your weight is even. Flex the left foot to keep that left leg active, and turn the torso, a little bit of a twist towards that left leg. Inhale to reach the arms up. Leading with your chest, exhale and hinge forward. Reaching the right hand on the pinky toe side of the shin or ankle or foot. With every inhale, lengthening the spine out of the hips. With every exhale, sinking a little bit deeper. As you inhale, reach through the fingertips, come all the way up. Exhale, we'll twist to the right. Bring your right fingertips behind you. Left hand on the bent knee. Sit up nice and tall as you twist to the right. Keep your left hand on the bent knee and inhale the right arm up overhead towards the extended foot. The intention here is to create some opening through the right hip and through the shoulder. So don't worry if that foot looks really far away. And if the foot is close, that's great too. Just make sure you're feeling that opening in the right hip. Janu Shirshasana, head to knee pose. Inhale to come back up to center. Bend your knees and place your feet flat on the floor. Bring your hands behind your thighs and sit up nice and tall. Engage your belly, so pull in the lower abdominals, tuck the ribs. And as you exhale, gently tip back, see if you can get your feet off of the floor for boat pose or Navasana. You can stay here or try bringing your shins to parallel. And in honor of trying to get everything moving in the body here, one more little shout out to the toes. So in the yoga practice, you hear me talking about flexing your feet or pointing your toes. And pretty much in all of our postures where we're not standing, our feet are meant to be flointed, which is a combination of flexing and pointing. So if you can see my feet here, it's not quite pointing, it's not quite flexing, it's flointing, and it creates more space in the toes, more openness in the foot, and more engagement through the shins. Little fact there. Release the hands from behind the thighs, reach your fingertips forward, hang in there, you're doing a great job. Exhale to release, come to a cross-legged seat. Sit up nice and tall, bring your palms together at your heart, just to reconnect with yourself here. Release your hands and open your eyes. Gently make your way onto your back, however is most comfortable for you. Knees are bent and feet are flat on the floor. Find a nice long spine here. So make sure that the vertebrae are all nestled into one another. Lower your shoulders down on your back, away from your ears. And then hug your knees in towards your chest. Wrap your hands around your shins. Gently rock from side to side or front to back. Plant your left foot on the floor. Extend your right foot up towards the ceiling. Hands come behind the thigh. And if you're able to walk your hand up more towards the calf or ankle, you can do that. We're pulling the leg a little closer to the body. Stay active in your left leg, pressing the left foot into the floor. Lower your right foot down to the mat and extend your left foot up towards the ceiling. Hands come behind the thigh. And then feel free to walk the hands up the leg to pull it a little closer. Keep pressing into your right foot rather, to stay grounded. Cross your left ankle over your right thigh and bring the legs in towards the body for a reclined figure 4 or reclined pigeon pose. This is also called Supta Ekapada Rajakapotasana, which is reclined king pigeon pose. Keep both of your feet flexed here. And you can do what you'd like with the hands. You can reach through and bring your hands around the back of the thigh. I have one hand on a thigh and one hand on the knee here. You can have your arms by your sides, whatever feels best. And then we're going to switch sides. So right ankle comes over the left thigh. Again, both ankles are flexed. Breathing to open up anywhere that you're feeling tightness. Release both feet down to the floor. Bring your feet about mat width apart. Release your arms down by your sides. And then just gently let your knees fall from side to side. We call this windshield wiper, and I don't know a Sanskrit name for it. That seems like a very contemporary name. I'll have to look that up. Just let the hips be free here. This is a little massage for the low back. And then bring the knees in towards the chest. And keeping the knees bent deeply, grab a hold of the pinky toe side of the feet or the shins if that doesn't seem accessible for you. We're going to rock from side to side for happy baby pose or Ananda Balasana. Your feet can be close together or wide apart. The knees are bent deeply, and we're working on massaging the spine and the low back here. Come to stillness and hug the knees in towards the chest. And from here, we'll move into our final resting posture of Shavasana. So extend your legs straight out on the mat. Again, Shavasana is corpse pose. Let your feet be mat width apart and let the feet relax off to the sides. Make sure your shoulders are nestled down on your back. Arms are down by your sides with your palms face up. And let the backs of your hands connect to the floor off of the mat so that you're really taking up some space. Do what you need to make yourself comfortable here in Shavasana, whether it's a blanket or a pillow. Feel the firm support of the floor beneath you and just rest. As I said in the ancient yoga practice, we did these physical asana, these physical postures to get to a place of meditation. In the more modern yoga practice, we do all these postures to get to where you're at right now, which is Shavasana. So enjoy. Begin to deepen your breath and let some movement return back to your toes and your fingers. On an inhale, reach your arms up overhead and stretch your legs out nice and long for one last long stretch, fingertips to toes. Bring your knees in towards your chest as you roll onto your right side, just pausing for a moment. And keeping your eyes closed, using as little effort as possible. Make your way up to a seat, sitting up nice and tall like we did in the beginning. And bring your palms together in prayer, an Anjali Mudra in front of the heart. Soften the brow and relax your jaw. And just do a little scan once again, just like we did at the beginning, from the toes, feet, ankles, all the way up the legs and body, checking in with the joints and muscles, seeing how they feel now compared to the beginning of class. Is this seat a little bit easier for you? Is this actually Sukhasana? We'll close our practice by chanting Om, and we'll chant it just one time. Take a full exhale and a deep inhale for Om. The light in me honors and acknowledges the light in each of you. Namaste. Thanks so much for coming to class tonight. I hope that you learned a little bit about Sanskrit and got some opening going on in the body. Feel free to share this class, and I look forward to seeing you next week.